Hey, it's Theo, and thank you for joining me. This is the first part of my card reviews for the Lost City of Ongoro. Now, I won't be wasting your time with having videos of 8 minutes for just one card, but instead, I'll be reviewing every class separately in a video, and then today there will be the neutrals as well, and every card will be in 1 minute or less, so you have a nice and quick overview of each card. So let's get started with the very first card. It is the Sizzling Cinder, a 1 mana 2/1 elemental. Death Rattle, deal 2 damage randomly split among all enemies. Now this looks like some past card, maybe like Lepronome or a Fiery Bat. But yeah, nowadays this kind of card feels like, yeah, 2 damage isn't what it used to be. There's so much healing, so much armor gain. It's definitely not as good as those older cards. Now where I can see this play is in like elemental decks, because it's pretty good, right, having an elemental on turn 1. But in other aggro decks, yeah, I don't really see it that much. Usually you want to have repeat damage with your 1-drop as an aggro deck. And yeah, this one probably just dies the moment it gets played. And that's not really worth running it for. Now, the other upside, of course, with an elemental is it goes well into menagerie decks, so I can buff it with like the menagerie duck and another new card. So I think I'll be giving it 2 stars. Like, I don't think it's amazing, but I think it can see a little bit of play because of that elemental tag. Now let's go to the second 1-drop of the set, the Platasaur, a 1 mana 1/2 beast, Battlecry, draw card, Death Rattle, discard it. Oh yeah, 1 mana draw card, pretty good. But yeah, the fact that you discard if it dies, it means you basically have to play the card immediately. Because yeah, with just 2 health and your opponent knows you're going to discard a card, they're probably going to be focusing on killing this immediately. So it has to be played in a deck with a very low curve, with no situational cards, because you don't want to be drawing a board clear of this or something, and then yeah, there's no board from the opponent, it just goes away. That's not worth it. You maybe play it in like an asteroid deck or in like a rogue, just all the cards are cheap and you can bounce this multiple times to draw even more. But with that said, I'm not really sure where it will see play, because there's plenty of draw in standard right now. And yeah, the discard part, I think it's a pretty big downside. You can't just play it on turn 1. So that's why I think I'll be giving it 2 stars. I think it's just a little bit too much of a downside, and draw isn't worth as much as it used to be. Now let's go to the 2-drops now, starting with the Curious Explorer, a 2 mana 3/5. Death Rattle, reduce the cost of a minion in your opponent's hand by 2. So this is very nicely statted, of course. So yeah, 2 mana 3/5, great. But yeah, the downside is pretty big, like just reducing your opponent's minion by 2, like they can play like, a big minion way earlier than you can deal with. So yeah, this card I really feel like it only goes into like an aggro deck, right? And it doesn't have a tribe, so it doesn't get buffed by those menagerie cards. And yeah, I don't think it just gets enough stats extra on top of like what a 2-drop would be. Like even a 2 mana 2/4 by itself, I don't think you would play. So it barely gets any extra stat with a pretty big downside, and I don't think that's worth playing, so I'll be giving it 1 star. And the next card we have is the Crystal Tender, a 2 mana tradable card. 2/2 Battlecry, gain empty mana crystals until both players have the same mana. So yeah, unless you're playing like against the deck that ramps, like Warrior with the Druid cards or just Druid, yeah, this card is pretty useless. There's no way you can ever use this in a normal match. The only neutral card you have is Ysera that can get you ahead with ramping, but that's pretty late in the game. And just running the card for Ysera or for like a Druid, if you face it, it ramps a lot. It doesn't really seem worth it. Like, the Druid has to ramp even more than once, right? If they just ramp once, you play 2 mana for ramp, yeah, great. But yeah, the downside is so big that I don't think it's gonna be worth running unless like the meta has a lot of ramp druids, like over half the meta has ramp druids and they ramp a lot. I don't think you want to be playing this card, so I'll be giving it 1 star. And we have the Rock Skipper, a 2 mana 1/3 Murloc Battlecry. Get a 1-cost rock that deals 3 damage. So this is like the rock we got before with the Excavate, and yeah, that was pretty solid. It was nice to get, but yeah, here you have to pay 2 mana to get it. So yeah, it's like a 3 mana 1/3 deal 3 damage, so that's just the worst SI7 agent, basically. Although you can split up the damage, which is nice. Yeah, SI7 agent doesn't see play, but it is a Murloc. Maybe you can combo that rock somehow in like a spell damage deck, because some decks don't really have direct damage, and then yeah, this can help maybe with it in like a combo deck. But yeah, by itself, I don't think it will see play. So yeah, maybe in a Murloc deck, maybe in some combo deck, because it is a neutral card. You can see play in decks that don't really have access to a lot of damage tools, but outside of that, yeah, it doesn't seem great, so I'll be giving it 2 stars. And then the next card here is the Tortillon Storyteller, a 2 mana 1/2. At the end of your turn, give +1/+1 to each friendly minion of a different type. So this card is a little bit like Shadow Ascendant and Priest, But yeah, -1/1 stats, but you give a buff to every tribe. So it's really good in menagerie decks when you can buff multiple cards. But of course, itself, it's only a 1/2. It buffs at the end of the turn, unlike the Jug, which yeah, works really well in these decks because you can basically have charge damage with it. But this one can buff a lot every turn. Like if you just buff 2 cards, it already feels kind of worth it. Yeah, buffing 3 or 4 cards is pretty amazing. The only problem is, of course, that yeah, you need to have mana to play all the cards, go wide, and yeah, removal can be pretty efficient to deal with those minions. So it can be hard to buff too many minions. But I think it's still going to be a good card. This card can really snowball. It can be a lot of stats for these aggro decks. I'll be giving it 3 stars. And then we have a card for the quest that we're going to be having in every class, which is the Questing Assistant. 2 mana, 3/2, Battlecry. If you play the quest this game, deal 2 damage. So obviously you can play this immediately after the quest. Also, if you've completed the quest, this works, unlike some previous questing cards like the Questing Explorer, I think. And yeah, this one, just 2 damage is nice. It's nothing amazing, right? But yeah, dealing 2 damage. There's a bunch of cards right now that see play that just deal 2 and have some different effects. So yeah, I think this will just be a solid card in the quest decks that just wants to have some early game, a little bit of removal. It won't be breaking the quest or anything. It's not really that strong, but just I think it'll just be a solid card in quest decks. So I'll be giving this one 3 stars. And then the last 2-drop we have here is the Ancient Raptor, a 2 mana 2/1 beast. Battlecry, choose the game +3 attack, Divine Shield or Death Rattle. Summon 2 1/1 plants. So this is either a 2 mana 5/1 Magma Rager. Yeah, you don't want to play that. A 2 mana 2/1 Divine Shield, which is okay, but yeah, there's already better cards basically than that. And it can be a 2/1 with Death Rattle, 2 1/1 plants, which is probably the best part of it. Just yeah, kind of a sticky minion for multiple tokens, which is basically like a Haunted Creeper. But yeah, Haunted Creeper was a 2014 card. We're no longer in 2014. And yeah, I don't think that kind of card would see play anymore in standard. So I don't think you want to play any of these 3 options. And yeah, the benefit of being able to choose, yeah, that is not really worth it when you don't really want to pick them anyway. So I'll be giving this card 1 star. And let's go to the 3 drops, starting with Primal Fin Challenger, a 3 mana 3/2 Murloc, Battlecry. Your next Kindred triggers twice. So now we haven't seen any Kindred cards yet, but Kindred activates when you've played a card with the same spell school or tribe as the card you're playing the turn before. So if this card had Kindred, then you had to play Murloc the last turn to activate it this turn. Historically, making things go twice has been pretty powerful, as we've seen with Brand and Battlecries or the Shaman quest with double spells. However, yeah, the Kindred cards that we'll be seeing, yeah, they're not super amazing. And you're spending 3 mana on this card to make basically an extra Kindred trigger. Yeah, for 3 mana and a 3/2, the Kindred cards just don't seem good enough so far. What has been revealed yet, we'll get to some later, but yeah, just the Kindred cards that have to be really good to make a card like this worth playing. So unless they become much better than the ones we've seen, they won't be too good, so I'll be giving this card 2 stars. Then the next 3-drop we have is the Undercover Cultist, a 3 mana 2/3 Taunt Reborn. Has +3 attack while damaged. So yeah, it's just a 2/3 that dies easily, and then it's basically a 5/1 when it gets reborn. So kind of an annoying taunt, but yeah, is it really worth playing a 2/3 taunt into a 5/1 Death Rattle taunt? Well, it is annoying to deal with. Just some taunts with some mediocre stats just doesn't cut it in today's meta, so I'll be giving this 1 star. Then the next card we have is the Relic Miner, a 3 mana 3/3 Battlecry. Destroy the top card of your deck. Discover a card of the same rarity. So this is a 3 mana 3/3 Discover card. Yeah, those cards haven't really seen play lately. We've got like Konzu seeing no play, but like the Discover Legendary 3/4 see no play. So yeah, I don't see how this card will see play. Like even without the destroy the top card, it's not amazing. And then now you destroy a card from your deck that you might want really badly. Like yeah, you don't want to risk it with certain cards in your deck, right? The slower decks and faster decks. This cover is way too slow, so I don't really see in what kind of deck you want to be playing this. So I'll be giving this card 1 star. Then we have the Sharp-Eyed Lookout, a 3 mana 2/3 Battlecry, draw a card. It costs 1 less. I know its name, and I know its name means that you see the card that you'll be drawing, so basically you know which card you'll be top decking. Now a 3 mana 2/3 draw card, reduce it by 1 is not amazing. I wouldn't play that card, but the fact that you get to see your top deck can be quite nice. Maybe in a deck like Priest, if that ever is viable. Slower Priest deck, again, there's like the card that makes your next next card costs 1, your next card draw, and yeah, with this one you can actually see what you're going to be drawing and then decide if you want to make that cost 1 or not. So that can be quite nice, or just knowing what you're going to be top decking, so you can play with the next card. So with the extra info that you get of the I know its name part, I'll be giving it 2 stars because that can be quite useful in some decks. But yeah, without that, this card would see no play. And we have the Ancient Stegodon, a 3 mana 1/5 beast, Battlecry. Choose the gain Taunt, Poisonous, or +1/+1. So another where you basically get an Adept version, and then you can pick one of these 3. So you get a 3 mana 1/5 of Taunt. Yeah, not great. A 3 mana 1/5 of Poisonous. Yeah, I wouldn't play that. Or a 3 mana 2/6. Also wouldn't play that. It's yeah, those stats not really good enough nowadays in Hearthstone. And yeah, again, just like the previous card where you got 3 options, just none of the options are particularly good or even decent. So yeah, no reason to play this in your deck, I think. So I'll be giving this 1 star. Then the next card we have is the Dissolving Ooze, a 3 mana 3/3 Battlecry. Destroy a friendly minion. Spit out the bones of its attack and health into your hand, and then you get this bones card, which costs 2 mana, and with that you can give those stats to another minion. Now, yeah, I'm not sure what you want to be playing this right now. Now, in a scenario where you have like a 0 mana giant, you can play like a giant. You play this one on the giant, and then you have the bones for +8/+8, or maybe a minion on your board. So it's like a 5 mana +8/+8 buff, which is pretty good. But you also need to set up a giant, you need to have a minion, and that's a lot of work. Well, yeah, just giants by itself usually are pretty good. Now, the one time I can see this card seeing play is like some sort of combo deck, or you like cheat out some stats in some way with like a charger, or I don't know, a stealth minion that you can then buff with those bones. I feel like this can be some weird way though this card sees play, so I think I'll be giving it barely 2 stars. Like, most likely won't see play, but I feel like, yeah, maybe with specific cards that would work really well with this, it could see some play. And the next card we have is the Petrified Ogre, a 3 mana 5/5, starts dormant. While dormant, gain +2/+2 at the start of your turn, and a 50% chance to awaken instead. So if it awakens immediately, it's a 3 mana 5/5 with yeah, 2 turn delay basically before you can attack instead of the usual 1 turn delay. Yeah, not really that great, is it? And then it's only 50% chance. It might just never awaken, right? Like, it might just always get the +2/+2 buff. So it's gonna literally be a negative when it just blocks a board slot. And yeah, the positive, yeah, just ain't that great. So I don't see any decks you want to be playing this in. So I'll be giving it 1 star. And the following card is the Marshland Thresher, a 3 mana 3/3 beast. After you cast a spell, gain Divine Shield. So if you cast a spell, it's a 3 mana 3/3 with Divine Shield. Yeah, that's not really something you would play in your deck, would it be? I don't think I would. Yeah, so the benefit then is that you get Divine Shield maybe multiple times if your opponent doesn't clear it. But I feel like most of the time it's gonna get cleared, and I don't think there's enough upside to this card. Because also you first need to cast a spell with it. You can't just drop it on 3 as a 3 mana 3/3. Then your opponent can't clear it. You can maybe get a value trade and get the Divine Shield again. No, you need this one, then play a spell. Then hope your opponent doesn't clear it. Then you need to play another spell, and then maybe it's like barely worth it. Yeah, not the card you want to be putting in your deck, I think. So I'll be giving this 1 star. Then we have the Pterodax Egg, a 3 mana 0/3. Death Rattle, summon a 3/3 Pterodax that steals 1 health from all other minions, and you get this juvenile Pterodax. Now I think almost every egg card has seen play, but they all have been pretty cheap. Yeah, this one is a 3 mana. And you get a 3/3 and it steals 1 health, which can be nice, but yeah, it's very matchup dependent. Like, it could be very nice against aggressive decks, right? With a bunch of tokens, you get a big health boost here. But in the slower matchups, yeah, it's just a 3/3 that you get off a 3 mana egg, and yeah, that's pretty awful. That's not what you want to be playing this for. Also, it steals health from your minions, so if you have a nice board, it might just kill some of your minions, and yeah, your opponent can even abuse that, right? By killing this egg if you have it. So yeah, it feels like just too expensive for egg with potentially a downside on the card. Yeah, I don't think it's going to be worth running, so we're giving this 1 star. And we have the Stranglevine, a 3 mana 3/2. Death Rattle, give a random friendly minion a random bonus effect, and this Death Rattle. So this is one of those cards that basically just keeps jumping from minion to minion until all the minions are dead. And those cards, yeah, generally just haven't seen play. And this yeah, effect is just a random bonus effect, so you might just get taunt and taunt of this, and yeah, it can be pretty useless or like elusive. Just bonus effects that aren't really worth it, and then you spend 3 mana on this, you need another minion, and the other minion needs to not die, then this dies, and then you give the minion a bonus effect, and that minion Then dies, there has to be another minion. Yeah, just way too hard to pull this off, so I'll be giving it 1 star. Then we're going to the 4 drop, starting with this legendary Torga, a 4 mana 2/7 undead beast. Battlecry, draw a kindred card and another card that activates it. So yeah, that is a 4 mana 2/7 with 2 tribes on it that draws 2 cards. I mean, there's no way this card isn't seeing play. This effect is way too good. Getting 2 draws that also synergize with each other and are tutors. That seems pretty amazing. And on top of it, you also have an undead and a beast, which has additional benefits. The only problem is that the kindred cards aren't that amazing from the cards I've seen so far. And yeah, then drawing them isn't super amazing. If you tutor them, it's not really an upside if you tutor worse cards than average, right? But I think still though, draw 2, tutor, there's gotta be some good kindred cards, right? That just has to be one good kindred card, really good kindred card for this card to be really strong, so I'll be giving it 4 stars. And the next card is the Primal Sabertooth, a 4 mana 5/3 beast. Stealth, after this attacks and kills a minion, get a copy of it. So you want to be playing this on 4 and then hope your opponent has a minion that you want to trade into. Although it's not too bad going face, right? Like a 4 mana 5/3 stealth isn't the absolute worst. But yeah, relying on your opponent to play a specific minion that you need to kill while this is on the board, because your opponent, of course, can just not play a minion that you really need, or your opponent just plays bad minions, like they play the Imbue Taunt, right? And then you have to kill it with this one, you get it in your hand, and if you're not playing an Imbue deck, it's going to be absolutely useless. So I don't really see where you want to be playing this. There's not like Titans that are broken that you want to be stealing, and even then, your opponent will know that this is going to be there and try and play around it. So just not worth a card slot, and I'll be giving it 1 star. Then the next card we have is the Crater Gator, a 4 mana 5/4 beast. Battlecry, until the start of your next turn, the enemy hero can't be healed. So this is going to be a funny tech card that people are going to be playing when they shouldn't be. But I feel like there's going to be some actual use of this card, of course, if there's like a priest with a lot of healing that are dominating in meta, or maybe a Death Knight with a lot of healing. Though I think this card won't work for like Airlock Breach or Vampiric Blood, because they don't technically heal, right? They just give you extra health. So I think this is one of those tech cards that require really, really specific scenarios, right? Like Plate Breaker to work when like a specific deck runs rampant, and this would hard counter that deck. So I don't think this card is going to see a lot of play, but I can see situations where this tech card can see play. But yeah, those healing decks really, really have to dominate before you want to be playing this to stop their healing. So I'll be giving this card 2 stars. Then the next card we have is the Steamfin Thief, a 4 mana 3/2 Murloc. Kindred, summon 2 1/1 Murlocs with Rush. Now, the stats, they changed the stats a bit around. I've seen the cards with different stats, but this is the card that I got here, so we'll be judging it on this one. But yeah, this one, a Murloc, get 2 1/1 with Rushers if you Kindred. But yeah, it feels like almost, why even is there a Kindred on this? Because just a 4 mana Murloc with over 2 1/1 Rushers doesn't seem that amazing. It's a bit like the Mother Duck, right? And yeah, that card doesn't see much play, only in like a Paladin deck, I think, because of the Crusader aura. Now, this card does have the upside of being Murlocs, but there are not a lot of good Murloc synergy cards. The Kindred is like, why even have Kindred on this? It just isn't a good effect anyway. It's like, it's supposed to be a bonus effect, right? And this is not really a bonus effect. This feels like it should have been the base card and then a Kindred effect on top of it. So I'll be giving this card 1 star. Then the next one we have is a big legendary, at least the Navigator, a 4 mana 3/5 Battlecry. If your deck started with 10 cards of different costs, craft a custom location. So yeah, here are the options. So yeah, 7 different options, and you get to pick 2 of them. And then it skills based on the mana cost. So you can get 1, 5, or 10 mana ones, and they all get, obviously a lot better with the higher cost. Now, if you want a specific one of these, I think it's 10 and 14 to get a specific one. If my math is correct, please let me know if it isn't. So it's not guaranteed you get one, so it might be a bit harder to play like a combo deck. And just like Ignis, yeah, the 10 mana cards can be pretty nuts because you can use it 3 times. Downside, of course, is that you need to run 10 cards of different cost, which might force you to play worse cards. I think you're going to be using the 5 mana one the most on curve. Good options, though, yeah, I don't think you want to really build your deck too much around it. It's not quite good enough for that, but if you have 10 different cards, I think you can easily slot this in. So giving this 4 stars. And we have the Blob of Tar, a 4 mana 2/4 elemental with Poisonous, Taunt, and Death Rattle. Summon a 1/2 blob with Poisonous and a 1/2 blob with Taunt. So this is like Tar Creeper with Sludge Belcher combined. So this is a bit like Sludge Belcher, but this has poisonous and it has 2 minions instead of 1. And yeah, this one is really annoying to deal with. It's in standard right now, but actually I haven't seen it yet. Cards like this with just a weak amount of stats, right? Taunt, they just don't see a lot of play because you can't really play it in proactive decks. And yeah, if you're playing in a reactive deck, you rather usually clear the board than play this. But still, I want to say it's a lot of things this card does. I feel like it will maybe see play at some point, so be giving it 2 stars. Then the next taunt we have is the Willful Watcher, a 4 mana 4/7. Death Rattle, destroy the top 3 cards of your deck. Now that is a lot of stats for a 4-drop with taunt, and you can actually attack with this one. But yeah, the Death Rattle, destroy the top 3 cards of your deck. It's not great. Well, this can help you get faster to fatigue. The fact that you destroy 3 cards might just destroy that strategy, right? If there's like an Arana that you want to use in fatigue, and then you get to fatigue fast, but then this card kills Arana, yeah, the whole strategy is gone. And yeah, I don't know what you want to be playing this in. Yeah, the stats are nice, but yeah, the downside I feel like is way too big. And the only cards that don't care about the discard are like super aggressive decks, and I don't think they want to be playing a card like this. So I'll be giving it 1 star. The next card we have is the Cloud Serpent, a 4 mana 4/3 elemental dragon. Battlecry, get a copy of another elemental or dragon in your hand. Now, with a card like this, it feels like something that you want to target on a specific elemental or dragon, right? You don't just want to copy any random dragon or elemental. That's not really worth it for 4 mana. But when you're playing elementals or dragons, generally you want to be playing a lot of them because they synergize with each other, and that makes this card not really worth running. But if you're running like only 1 elemental maybe you want to copy, then yeah, you might have to wait a long time before you can get to that point. And this will be stuck in your hand. So I feel like this card will only see play if there's some really broken elemental or dragon. I'm not sure what there is right now because yeah, even like a card like Fire it's great, but yeah, this basically gets you a 4 mana attacks on that Fire and yeah, I think this is a little expensive for that. I don't think it's unplayable though. It really needs just specific elementals or dragons to be good enough, and I don't think there's many of them. So I'll be giving this card 2 stars. Then we have the Ancient Terrax, a 4 mana 4/4 beast, Battlecry. Choose to gain stealth until your next turn, elusive or wind fury. And yeah, this is like the previous cards where you get 3 adapt options, and this time it's stealth, elusive or wind fury. And just like the other 2 cards, yeah, none of these options seem anywhere near playable, so I'll be giving this card 1 star as well. Then we're going to the 5 drops. We have the Storm Brewer, a 5 mana 3/6 elemental. Whenever this attacks, deal 3 damage to the target first. Kindred, gain rush. So by itself, yeah, this is without the Kindred, it's awful, right? The 5 mana 3/6 with maybe an upside if it lives. And with the Kindred, yeah, you can play this on 5 if you played the Elemental before. Then you can attack a 3/3, ideally, right? You kill that, and then you have a 3/6 left. That is sort of a 6 attack minion if you attack with the upside of just not even taking damage when you hit a 3 health minion. But yeah, is that good enough nowadays? I don't think so. Like, you have to have the Kindred, or this card is completely awful. And even with the Rush, yeah, I don't think a card that is 5 mana 6/6 with Rush is even that amazing. I feel like for 5 mana you want to do way more than what this card does, so I'll be giving this 1 star. And the next legendary we have is the City Chief Asho, a 6 mana 5/7 Battlecry. If every minion in your deck shares a minion type, give your other minions +2/+2 wherever they are. So I think that means that wherever they are is on the battlefield, in your hand, or in your deck. And that is a pretty powerful effect. But yeah, it only sees play in a tribal deck. So if your deck is only elementals, only dragons. And yeah, that is a pretty big downside, because a lot of times you don't want to just purely play that tribe. Although I think I've seen elemental decks, right, just play purely elementals. But yeah, it is quite nice that it also buffs your board. So yeah, if you have a little bit of a board, right, just you can immediately go face with it. So I think this card can see some play in those tribal decks. Although yeah, I don't think there's too many tribal decks. And yeah, you don't want to adjust your deck too much to make this card work. But I think if you can slot it in a tribal deck, it's going to be pretty solid. So I'll be giving it 3 stars. Then the next 6 drop we have here is the Skill Height Kodo, a 6 mana 3/6 beast. Battlecry, destroy the lowest attack enemy minion. Kindred, the highest attack instead. So this is a bit like the old Kodo, where it kills then a minion with 2 attack or less, I believe. And yeah, that saw a little bit of play back then. Killed like Doomsayers and stuff. And this is sort of similar, although lowest attack meaning could just mean that it's the 1-10-10 on the board that it kills. And then if you play the beast the turn before, you destroy the highest attack instead, and you can't even target it. Yeah, just killing one minion with one card just hasn't been amazing these last few years. And yeah, if there's nothing important to kill on the board, this card just kind of does nothing right. And with the Kindred on the card, that means you kind of want to have multiple beasts in your deck. But then, yeah, if you're playing a more aggressive beast strategy, then you don't really want a card like this usually. And if you're playing a slower strategy where you actually want to kill stuff, then there's a good chance the Kindred won't be active. Yeah, I don't think that's going to be worth running in your deck, so I'll be giving this card 1 star. Then the next card we have is almost similar. It's the Ravenous Devilsaur, a 7 mana 3/3 beast. Battlecry, destroy a minion. At least you can target this one. Kindred, gain its stats. So this is like the Devourer from Castle Netria, but that one was 9 mana, but it could gain the stats of the 3 minions it killed with the Infuse. And killing 3 minions for just 2 more mana is way better than this card. Plus, you need to actually have played a beast before, and it just has the same issues as the last card, where playing a beast before this, it doesn't really fit in decks with a lot of beasts. I think they're usually more aggressive. And then, you have to set it up, and then all you do is kill 1 minion, gain its stats. Yeah, not really worth it in today's Hearthstone, so we're giving this card 1 star as well. Then we have the Endbringer Umbra, the free legendary you already got in game now. It's a 7 mana 6/6 Battlecry. Trigger the death rattles of 5 friendly minions that died this game. I saw a topic on Reddit about this with some interesting interactions. But basically it just triggers whatever death rattle got triggered. So for example, if you played the Death Knight Starship and it summoned a 10-drop, it's also gonna summon a 10-drop because that's what the death rattle did. So it just copies whatever happened there. I've already seen this in some decks on ladder. And it can be pretty good in the late game, but yeah, it needs a lot of setup to be worth running, because generally you want some big death rattles right, and they take quite a while to set up. And then it can be nice, of course, when you get all those death rattles back. But I think, yeah, by that point, if you got some really powerful death rattles, usually you already would have liked to win by then. But I think it's still a solid card, and yeah, maybe in the future there can be some decks built around it with specific death rattles. So I think it can be good in that, and I'll be giving this card 3 stars. Then the 8-drop we have is the Tar Tyrant, a new Tar card, because it's Ungoro, of course. 8 mana, 1/12 elemental, taunt, lifesteal. Has +6 attack during your opponent's turn. So yeah, a 7/12 on your opponent's turn. That can heal quite a bit. But yeah, these cards just don't see play anymore. An 8 mana card can die to a single card, and you wasted 8 mana on this. Yeah, you just can't play those cards nowadays. Yeah, cool they brought the tar back with a new version, but yeah, it doesn't work nowadays. So I'll be giving this 1 star. Then we have the 9-drop of the Whirling Stormdrake, a 9 mana 8/8 elemental dragon. Rush, Wind Fury. Kindred, gain immune this turn. Also, it got some pretty amazing signature art. This card reminds me a bit of the Onyxia with the 8/8 stats and the immune, but yeah, this is nowhere close to that power level. Yeah, for playing this for 9 mana, yeah, just killing 2 minions for 9 mana, gaining an 8/8. Yeah, that for 9 mana, just not really worth it. You need to have a bigger impact for 9 mana. Also relies on your opponent having the right board for this to clear, and you need to basically have set up, right, the elemental or dragon the turn before, which might also not always happen when you play this. So yeah, I don't think this card will be seeing play, which is kind of sad though with that signature. That looks really amazing. But I'll be giving this card 1 star. Then the last card we have, and it's a big one. It's the Ultra Gigasaur, an 11 mana 14/28 beast. Yes, this is one big boy, just like the Ultrasaur, but this one a little bit bigger. And yeah, very good meme. 10 out of 10. But do you really want to play it in any deck? Yeah, I don't think so, unless you really want to meme with it. Yeah, pretty big stats though. It's rare to see these amount of stats on a card, and yeah, that can be hard for some decks to deal with. But yeah, for 11 mana, cards kind of need an immediate impact, and this one, yeah, doesn't have that. But a great meme. But outside of some interesting discover options for this, maybe I don't think it's gonna see play in any deck. So I'll be giving this card 1 star. And those are all the cards. And thank you for making it all the way through the end. And like I said in the beginning, I'll have reviews for every class in the coming weeks, with 1 class per day whenever all the cards are revealed. So stay tuned for that. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to like and subscribe. Thank you for watching, and until next time.